Welcome to our Sunday Spirit Candy series. We are in Cokeville, Wyoming, the small town where a lot of Tykert descendants live and visit often.
Yeah, and we're in front of the Cokeville Chapel. This is a special place. At least to me. My grandfather built it when he was the bishop here, and in those days there wasn't a church building department, I don't believe, and so each ward had to construct their own chapel. So my grandfather built this place as the bishop. My father worked on it. My great-grandmother, some of you know of the artist Minerva Tykert. There are two big murals of hers up at the front of the chapel, and that isn't allowed in most Latter-day Saint chapels, but because of her connection to this community, that's been given a special exception.
And
by
we
the
just
church.
attended sacrament meeting, me
In that
for the
chapel.
first time ever here in this chapel. I have seen the church, and I love seeing all her artwork on the halls, in the halls and in the rooms, because she donated a lot of her work here. And I was amazed at how many people were at church. Like,
Right.
apparently everyone in Cokeville comes to church at noon.
Well, not everyone, because there's two wards here.
Oh,
But yes,
okay.
everyone in town, almost everyone in town comes. There's not everybody's a member, but most.
And what I was especially
And people come in from out at their ranches too, so the population gets bigger on Sunday.
right. And I was especially excited to see your 102-year-old grandma
Right.
sitting there at church. She attended the family reunion and she attended church, and she's got energy to spare. I don't know how she does it.
My grandfather's funeral was here in 2006 at this chapel. My great-grandparents, Herman A. and Minerva Tykert, she was the artist, they both had their funerals in this chapel. And one interesting little fact, I was given a name and a blessing in this chapel. So this chapel has big ties to my family and heritage. And
Most of the reunion gathering is here as well,
right,
in the back and
right,
in
there's
the
a pavilion
cultural hall.
out back, and we used the cultural hall, and that's often used for things like that in this town. So it's a very small town. If you drive through it, you may not even know you've driven through it. But
Oh, and if you say Tykert here, they know how to spell it and how to say it, because
Right.
there's so many Tykerts here.
yeah, the
Like nowhere
Tykerts
else
are
in the whole world, right?
a big part of the town.
Yeah.
So we wanted to say something about heritage, and I want to begin by saying, although I've told you about what my heritage is related to this chapel and my family, I want to make the point that if you're a first-generation convert, this is your heritage too. Minerva Tykert is one of your artists because she wanted with her artwork to preach the gospel, and that was very important to her, and that belongs to you as well as it belongs to me.
And a lot of her art can be seen in temples all over the world.
Right. And those, so those things belong to you, whether you have pioneer ancestors as I did, or whether you are a first-generation convert. And I think this is a particularly important message to mid-singles, who we now know are a silent majority of the adults in the church. And sometimes we tended, when we were mid-singles, to feel a little bit lonely in the church and to feel like we didn't quite belong. And coming to a place with a lot of heritage like this can remind you that you are part of something very, very big and meaningful and important.
Right. We're all of God's children, and so as God's children, we're all part of one big family, and we all have a place of belonging.
Right. I mean, I can feel a special kinship with this place because of my family and history, but in a larger sense, this is the place monument. That's your place. That's my place. That belongs to all of us. So, and this chapel belongs to all of us.
I'd just like to really
By the
quickly
way,
share. Oh,
one little fact I didn't mention, President McKay came here and dedicated this chapel. My grandfather was the bishop at the time, and so he had dinner in their home, and that's still something that's talked about.
That's right. At the 100th birthday party of Beulah Teichert, she mentioned how she made him dessert, and she was really proud of her dessert that she made him. And Minerva was there, and anyway, that was a special occasion.
Yes, there's a funny story associated with that, which we won't put on this video for now, but anyway.
Yeah, she's 102 and she still can tell stories like nobody's business. She remembers things, a lot of things.
Right.
I wanted to share really quickly that when I was a brand new mid-single, I fell in love with Minerva's art in the temple. I went to the temple a lot to seek peace and comfort and healing from my divorce. And I just, I don't know how to explain, but in several rooms and with several paintings, I connected with her in a really deep and meaningful way, long before I ever knew Jeff and long before I even knew that, there was any, chance in the future that I would be part of her family. And you never know when you reach out to God and, dive into your own spiritual wellness that, you never know where it might lead your life later.
Right. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, anytime is a great time for more love in your life. And we'll catch you next Sunday.